Hello and welcome to the Navy Blue Corner. I'm Ian, joined as always by my good mate Lockie. And with the mid-season bye in full swing and not much footy to talk about, we thought we'd do something a little bit different on the channel and have a bit of fun with, of course, what else can we go for? A tier list. And today we're going to be ranking pretty much every single Carlton jumper in existence. We'll be going through it in a kind of chronological order. Very keen to get stuck in. Lockie, firstly, how are you going? And how keen are you to jump into this?
It's nice to be in the bye period coming off that beautiful win that we discussed earlier in the week. And I think this is going to be the perfect thing to keep us, warm in our little break here. I'm excited. I'm keen to disagree with you on some things for a change, hopefully. Maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we'll just be completely aligned.
Mate, this episode could get well and truly heated. And look, yes, with this tier list as well, while watching this on YouTube, we're going to have a link to it in the comments so you can have your own chance to go through it. Rank the jerseys as much as you like, which ones you like, which ones you don't. And then, get on socials at Navy Blue Corner and let us know what your tier list is. I'm keen to hear from the listeners as well, exactly which jumpers you like and what you don't like. And if you agree with us on any, this is a hot takes galore. So let's get stuck in with the first one we've got here, which is, of course, the 1985 to 1988 home jersey. With the beautiful Avco sponsor. Now, premierships is what you can think of when you see this, particularly the big Brucey duel in it, Lockie. Where does this one kind of rank for you?
Look, I know I'm just going to preface, I'm going to be hypocritical today because sometimes there's going to be situations like this where the prestige and everything that's about this makes me want to put it as a really high tier. And there might be other jerseys where we might not have even won a game where I'm like, this is still great. For me, I have this on the higher end. I think this is this is iconic. This is who we are.
Were you going to say masterpiece? We can change it. Everything can change.
It feels weird doing a masterpiece from the start, but look, there's going to be some garbage that we're going to go through. So I think we tuck it right at the top.
Oh, yes, and I'm keen to. I know we didn't do this with our playing list tier list, but for this one, I also in the tiers want us to try and rank them as well, with left being the best and then slowly going down. I want to get into this as deep as possible. And I agree with you. Just when you see Big Bruce Duel there's something about the VFL logo as well. It reeks of what this football club once was, success. And so I think, definitely in masterpiece, the woolen jumper, everything about it. This one may be very close. It is the 1995 to 97 home jumper with, of course, the Hyundai logo in it. We won a premiership, our last one, in this big Anthony Koutafidis. Does this rank similarly for you, Lockie?
Got to be similar. I think for me, I've got to have Brucey first.
Oh,
you disagree?
See, this would have been my probably almost number one, just because. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I stared at this jumper on the wall in the bloody pool room growing up more than any of the others, so it has that piece to me. But well, maybe we'll keep it number two for now and we'll see if things will change, but definitely a masterpiece.
I'm happy to be flexible.
Now, maybe the next one, maybe it will, maybe it won't get up to the masterpiece level, but it is an interesting jumper that we wore in 1997. It is the M&M baby blue jumper. Is this close to a masterpiece for you?
Well, it's interesting when I look ahead at what we're going to be working with here, there's obviously comparing this to the one that Murph is wearing. For me, I think I prefer this to Murph's one.
Oh,
would you agree?
We're gonna have a big debate because this was going to go in horrific for me. I think this is potentially one of the worst we've ever had.
Ahead.
And interestingly, I said I loved the 95 jumper because it was on the wall for me growing up. There was also an Ange Christou jumper, and there's also this creepy photo, and maybe this is where the issues are arising, but it was Ange Christou in a bathtub full of blue M&Ms with accompanying the jumper. And so I don't know, maybe there's something about that turned me off a little bit as a child, but
PTSD there.
I don't know. It's just, it's something about the white monogram. Like, I think that's maybe the difference when we get to the other one, that I liked the whole navy. It just looks a bit tacky. I don't know what it is about this one, but feel free to try and convince me of where like it. It's definitely iconic. I get that.
It's definitely, I agree with horrific, But I look at that and then I go down to Murph and I'm like, oh, I don't know. For me, the navy on the light blue is just not aesthetic at all.
Okay.
Chuck
So where would
him
you
in
like?
horrific.
Where would
though.
you like it?
It's still horrific, but then we can debate where they all live in horrific, I reckon.
Okay, so
I definitely agree this is low, very, very low.
Well, this one could cause some debate as well. Not many might even recognize this jumper, the next one. It is a 1998 preseason jumper. I definitely never
preseason jumper.
Preseason jumper. I never saw this live in action. I was about 2, potentially, not even.
We were, yes.
It has this weird vertical stripe down the center with potentially the smallest monogram I've ever seen on a Carlton jumper. I feel like the idea was there, but the execution is very, very poor. Poor Sauce having to wear this and model it on some sort of day. What are you thinking? Are you liking this? It might be the first time you've ever seen this. Are you a big fan?
Honestly, it is when you sent me this the other day. I mean, I feel like he is doing it justice there. Yes. Like he is looking handsome as ever there, built. Like I think that's the best that it could possibly look. It's hard because I like quirkiness and changing things up. I don't. It's obviously horrific, but I don't know whether I'd have it above or below yuck white and light blue.
I think I like the idea. If they had the CFC a lot larger and centralized in this, I think the big issue is not only is it not visible, like the sponsors and everything are way bigger. It's then just weirdly high up on the middle of the chest. Like, sit that thing down. So I don't know if the CFC was bigger, I reckon it'd almost go into okay, but it's just, I don't know. There is something about that I just almost never want to see it again.
I don't mean to expose your research here, so pull me up if I am.
Did we win it?
Yeah, no, likely. But was the intention that it was a preseason jersey, or were they like, here's our new jersey, and it's like, oh shit, blowback. There was no Twitter, so I don't know how the blowback would have occurred, but it was just always going to be a preseason jersey, and that's that.
This was that era where a lot of clubs randomly just brought out some absolutely wacky designs for a couple of preseasons. I don't know if this was when the same gear as everyone else. I need to do some more extensive research, but being a footy jumper fanatic, jumping on as a child, footyjumpers.com, big shout out to them. They're not getting sponsored in this, but please, if you want to jump on board, they should be at this rate. But I went through every single club's jumpers as a child on this website for hours. That's how I spent my fun. A very cool kid I was on the computer, but every club had a weird one, and this was really the only one that we've ever had kind of stemming away from other stuff. So I've probably got it, I think, almost at the worst of the worst here for me.
Yep, I'm happy to roll with that for now. My heart may swing as we get deep in this, but I'm liking where we are so far. Everything's going to be either a masterpiece or horrific, by the way. I feel like there's going to be
no in-betweens. No in-betweens. Well, we'll see what happens with this one. The next goes to the 1998 to 2000 home jumper. Now, this was the first time we sort of switched from that traditional CFC, you see Cooter and Big Brucey wearing, to this more stylized, the one that was actually kind of on our logo, which seems weird that we've had that on our logo for ages and then just decided to never have it on the jumper or put the one that's on the jumper on the logo. I don't know where the idea behind that was for branding, but yeah, you obviously saw this in that 1999 season where we got to the grand final, didn't take home the chocolates. But where does this kind of rank from you, this new modern design to get into the 2000s?
I mean, this one and the next one we're going to look at is like my first actual memories of this jumper. Like when you and I would have actually started going to games. I think it's a masterpiece.
Think it's a masterpiece?
I really do.
I reckon it's close. I'm just going to put it down so I don't have to hold my finger down on the goddamn computer screen here. But I've got it as great because I think it's just below those two. There is something, though, about that Nike swoosh on the jumper. The still got the white Hyundai. And I don't know with the monogram, because it's still when they had it raised, and I don't know, it's almost like a little bit of a blue tinge around it. I don't know if that's just my eyesight doing that, but I don't know. I could never be convinced in Masterpiece. Do you want to bump it up for now?
No, look, let's roll with your great. I just think, like you said, got the Nike there. We're in the AFL now. The Hyundai is clean. Oh, I don't know. There's nostalgia factor for this one for me that probably isn't there with Brucey's.
Yeah. Well, big question. If you wanted in Masterpiece, would you have had it above the other two?
I think this is my cream of the crop, honestly.
This would have been your number one.
I think so. I don't know how I would change it. There's something about the way that the CFC logo is there compared to the old ones. I don't know. It's just so clean to me. And maybe it's just because of like that pivotal time in our lives when this was the go. I don't know.
Yeah, fair. I'm happy to chuck it into Masterpiece, and I'll maybe sit it behind the two because we disagreed a little bit. And that's where it'll be. I have a feeling we might disagree on this one. We'll see, because this is
interesting.
The 2001 to 2003 home jumper, changing with a bit of a sponsor. And you can almost call this with the Toshiba. I'm not going to go too deep into all of these being with a different sponsor, but I just thought that this was iconic for the time, because it's one of the first times and only times we've had such a glaring sponsor. Most centered kind of blend in, whereas this big red circle through what was, I guess, the first time I was really watching footy and finally knowing the players, and we didn't win any games in it. So it'll be interesting to see where you kind of cement this one. But I just thought that big red circle just kind of really stands out for me.
Yeah, in a bad way to me.
Yeah.
This is the first jumper that I had during like Auskick days. So it has that sentimental value. But yeah, comparing, like looking at that next to Brett, it's like the Hyundai just fits. Ugh. And it's like, why have we got this here? Big old polka dot.
Where would you like it? Where'd you like it, Lockie? Does it make horrific?
I think this is okay, personally. The foundations are there, and like it's not that dissimilar from the one that I just called a masterpiece, but it's definitely eye-catching. As soon as you look at it, you're like, what are we working with here?
It's insane how much a sponsor can change it, because literally the only thing different in that, and I tried to even get a photo with an absolute superstar in Craig Bradley. I tried to get long sleeves. I did everything I could to get this jumper looking as good as it possibly could, and it still doesn't. So yeah, it's an okay for me. Now, another bit of a weird one. This holds a big spot in my heart. It is the 2003 and 2004. They brought it back for a second year. Heritage Round jumper. I think it might have been the first Heritage Rounds we ever had. Definitely the first time we did something a bit wacky with it. It's got this yellow yoke on top, even though we never technically wore a yellow yoke. The story behind it is, for the historians out there, is we had the chamois that was meant to be white, after a few washes, turned to yellow. We've kind of tried to depict it there. It's got that weird early 1900s, 1910s wavy monogram there. Now, the reason I love this jumper is I was at one of the Heritage Round games against Fremantle at the beautiful Optus Oval at the time.
How good.
And I think I did have a jumper when I first started Auskick, but I almost was too young to remember getting handed the jumper, whereas this one was one of the first times at the game. Dad went to the shop, comes back with the footy jumper, and I just could not believe that I had the same one the players were wearing. So it holds a big space in mind. So I'd have it potentially good to great, Lockie, but I feel like there could be something a bit different here. Where do you have it?
You just wanted to wear the same jumper as your favourite player, pictured here.
That is Brett Johnson, I believe. Montrose, former Montrose captain coach at the time.
Alumni. Yeah, you just wanted to be like Brett, which makes sense. That's where we were at. Yeah, I'm definitely... I'm in agreement in the good to great. Like, I'm picturing this as like if they ran this back
I really
next
want them
year
to.
for some reason, would I be happy or not? I would be happy. So it's got to be one of the top 3 tiers, I think.
I feel like there's a way, and this is controversial because some people, I think, either love this or hate it. And I know there's people out there that hate Clash jumpers, and you see it on the Facebook comments. It's, we're the Navy Blues, we can only wear Navy. And it's like, come on, you got to do something a bit fun. And I think that this is somewhere we
Mhm.
can maybe go with a Clash jumper in the future. I don't know if you go maybe a whole of that yellowy color, maybe make it even closer to a white. So it's sort of like I don't know, a champagne color, if you may, for the whole thing, or do something a bit different. But I don't know. There's a way to modernize this jumper and do something with it. But I just think it's so different while also still retaining some sort of quality. And when you got the luscious locks of a Brett Johnson in it, it's hard to make it look
he
too
looks
bad.
good there. Yeah, we're in
Keep it in the
agreement, which
good.
I think sets the stage for looking at our other favorite Brett.
Yes. Well, we'll jump into the next one here, which in my notes is it's 2008 to 2014. This version of the jumper is a little bit on the latter side, but it is, of course, the home jumper, the more modern home jumper throughout probably the best football that we've ever seen. Lockie, it's still
true.
It's still that modern monogram. But the reason I've got this compared to, I think, the 2001, and I'll try and put it up close next to it if you can see it on screen, is because it's more rounded. It doesn't have all these little flicks to it. You can kind of see it on the far left side there. It used to have the flick. It doesn't anymore, but very synonymous with the Hyundai. It was kind of after we'd gotten rid of all the weird sponsors of the main. Who else do we have? Toshiba, Dan Murphy's, Malaysia. We had a couple of weird things there. So Hyundai, where do you have this one ranked?
I think I've got to have this one above Brett, and this makes me want to bump. This makes me want to bump Brett down to great. Honestly, Rats. That is
Brett. Is that what you're looking for?
Now I realize that we've how many Bretts we've had. We've got Jono up there. We've got Rats. We've got T-Bird to come. I think it is due to that success period. Like I have so many fond memories of this jersey.
See, I've got the fond.
Do you like this or the 2002 better?
I like the other one better. Definitely. I don't know. Just when I look at just the jumper itself, there's something about, and maybe I'm actually insane here, but there's something about the little flick on the top of the F and that little bit on the side of the C that I'm like, it just has a bit more character to it, and it feels like it's got a bit of a blue outline to it. I don't know. Yes. I don't know why, but when I look at the Ratton jumper, I just feel like it's elite. I don't know. I definitely have this one. A little bit. It just I don't know. There's something about this jumper that just reminds me of like we just didn't get it done. Whereas the Ratton jumper's kind of like it was on the back end of us still being good. I don't know. I would probably have it great or at the end of the masterpiece. So where do you have it?
I'm comfortable with that because I think there's possibility that maybe those latter two go down to great at some stage, depending on how we go. But, I mean, they're extremely similar. Yeah. I get what you're saying about the character. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Daigen in that jumper. So maybe that bumps it up a little higher. But we move on to the next one, which is pretty much our first ever Clash jumper. We bought it in 2007. There was a few iterations, pretty much the same thing towards 2010. It is, of course, a white jumper. It's the inverse of everything. You got Eddie Betts modeling it there. What do you make of the away jumper, and where does it kind of sit for you compared to everything else?
I mean, it's no masterpiece.
Oh, well, yes,
let's get that clear. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between the first three kind of white iterations that we had. Yes. Like it's very similar to the one that we're looking at, Murph, there. We're splitting hairs, but go. Do you prefer the Murph one, which I think is maybe 2013, is it? Which do you have higher?
I have the Murph, the 2013 to 2015, which we'll get to, where it has the blue kind of V underneath and more blue at the top. I have that rated higher. I don't know. I just feel like, Agreed. So for me, I think this is maybe good. It's definitely above the Heritage one. Maybe it can go to great, but maybe it even drops to okay. I'm not sure. At least this one, I'll give it maybe compared to where we're kind of at now is with this, and this is me just being a jersey jumper fanatic, is there's something about this Nike era having under the collar, that triangle,
Yeah.
that is just beautiful. I absolutely love it. And when it's a different color to the rest, it just looks so, it's so
true.
clean. The
It does
white's
take me
good. The
back.
Mars logo does something as well. But I think for me, that's good at the moment. But maybe it can bump up to great.
You like the Mars, but you hate the main. There you go.
Hate
They're
them.
not,
Yeah,
they're not
something
too
about it.
dissimilar.
Yeah.
There's still the red. I'm with you,
It
but
does blend in
yeah.
though for some reason. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is, but okay, we'll keep it in good for now. And
Yeah, I
then
like
we
that.
will move on to one of the most controversial jumpers that we've ever had that has only grown in controversy as the years have progressed. It is a
God.
one-off 2009 jumper for charity at the time, the Lance Armstrong charity Live Strong, where we wore this beautiful yellow piece modeled by the great T-Bird, Brett Thornton.
There he is.
Wore it, I believe, against Frio in WA and got the chocolates on that day. So maybe that bumps it up a little bit higher. You got Malaysia as the sponsor. A lot going on in this one, Lockie. Some people like it. Some people want this below a horrific category. Where does this land for you?
I think I've gone back and forth on this one throughout my life. And where I'm at right now is basically bottom of the barrel.
Really? Hates it.
I think I do hate it.
Got to hear.
I'm trying to. Okay, it redeems itself with the where the swoosh is. You got the little bit of a color difference. You get that point. You got the win, like you said. Oh boy, give me your sell.
I'll give you a sell because I think I'm the only person that likes this jumper that has ever liked.
I want to like
this
it.
jumper.
I want to.
Yeah, because this is definitely peak where the navy blues. How dare you change the jumper? Because all of a sudden people are going, it's bloody yellow, and this kind of maybe goes back to where I'm wanting this class jumper, maybe a bit more of that gold color that we had higher up, and I think the yellow is a bit too much. And maybe it's the fact that we just won in this jumper, but I'd almost have this jumper to great, which is insane.
Are you serious?
I don't know. There's something about the color of that yellow in particular with the navy that looks good to me. I don't know. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people think that's the worst jumper we've ever worn, and it's an absolute monstrosity. What are we, the bees? What are we? What are we? Just yellow nonsense going on? But I don't know. I would definitely, if it's horrific, I'd definitely have it above the M&M. I don't know. I like it. That's all I can say. I'd have it above the main.
In the member survey that you filled out today,
yeah,
because you're a great member that
bring back
cares
the yellow.
This great club. Yeah, if they included a question in there, what do you think? Next year, 3 games we play in this. You would say yes.
Alterations. It needs to be more the champagne color. I think it's a bit too bright.
That's what I'm saying.
Back.
I'm really into the champagne, but that's not what we're looking at here. To me, this is, like you said, this is B movie.
Barry B. Benson. That's him right there, modeling the top. Didn't know we get a B movie reference in this.
I don't want this to be in horrific because you're so passionate about it. And like I said, there's been stages in my life where I've been a defender of it.
Should we make it then the captain of the horrifics because it is out there?
Sure.
I'm happy to settle for captain of the horrific.
Yeah.
We can.
It just can't redeem it for me right now.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Okay. I'll move it. 1. Eminem can stay the captain. Very similar to the Eminem that we're talking about. It is the 2011 and 2012 away top, modeled by a bald Mark Murphy, which we love to see. The return of the baby blue. This was a jumper that I definitely ran out and got as I think a teenager at this stage.
Wow.
Where does this rank for you? So you had it potentially lower.
Yeah, you're not going to like me on this one. You're not going to like where I'm going. Man,
I can't believe this because I'd have this. I'd have this. I'd almost have this over the white away. It'd at least be in the middle.
Really?
I'll just place it here for now. I'd have it here. Is where I would.
I don't think there's any way. I'm going to put my foot down and say that is not better than Brett Johnson there. Come on.
What if Mark Murphy had long flowing locks? Would that change?
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I love it. I love a shaved Murph. I'm not deducting points for that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah. Hey, this is why it's subjective.
Exactly. And this is not a final position. This is where we debate because I think my reasoning is I loved it. This was one of the first times in the away era that I saw us do something different. And I am not heaps of a traditionalist. I love us doing something different. I'm a fan of English soccer. I'm sure you're a fan of the basketball, where every week they have a different jersey and they've got so many different editions. And I love that, where you treat the away tops like, do something a bit outlandish, do something a bit crazy, because you're not going to wear it that often. I will say the one issue with this jumper, and maybe that's why it'll bump down from where it currently is, with the bright blue shorts, monstrosity. If they had just worn white shorts, I reckon this would have looked so much better. And I hope as we move on in the current years, we do something a bit more. And maybe we go back to this as a throwback for an away jumper. Maybe we don't make it as bright. Maybe, again, like the champagne, we just dull it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe if I have to take it in with the whole blue shorts, it maybe goes down. But as I said, I like the idea of the blue CFC more. I think it doesn't stand out as much as that white one does. If we're bumping it down, I'd probably have it more in the okay, but I feel like you want it in the horrific.
No, let's okay it for now. You're right. I forgot about the. I mean, I wonder if white shorts would look better. Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm picturing navy shorts, white shorts, light blue shorts, all in my head is just awful. But
do you know Man City in the soccer at all? The baby blue with the white shorts.
Ian, you're outing me here.
That's fine. I know you're not into soccer, but like the Man City with the white shorts tends to actually look all right. So that's kind of where I guess I was basing off the blue with the white shorts.
I see you.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm setting myself to be overrun here at the end. So let me have my points now, and then you can just sweep over me and make it how you like it. I think that's a good way to work.
So is it okay? Is it above the main, or is it sitting below it? Big call.
I hate the main. Put it above main.
Yeah, there's something about that red. It's like I was just for reference. I was trying to find a photo of Mickey Martin in that, but I just couldn't get one where you could see the full jumper, which is pretty disappointing. We move on to another away jumper here. It is worn in 2013 to 2015, and I believe we might have then brought it back in like 2017 or something like that. This is modeled by beautiful Mark Murphy, most probably known for that beautiful 2013 last game of the regular season.
Absolutely.
Last game at Amy Stadium, running down Port Adelaide. Where is this for you?
That's an all-time memory for me, and one of my most rewatched bits of Carlton ever. I think it's great.
I think it's great. I think it is my favorite away jumper that we've ever done. I think.
Me too.
I would definitely have this above the baby blue, which I was voting highly for. It just, sometimes the all white is just too much. And particularly on TV, when you see it, sometimes you're going, oh, I'm so blinded. It's bad. But I don't know. The Mars, this is like peak Mars logo on the footy jumper. And it just, there's something about having more blue on it that just looks so much nicer. And there's some better memories around that 2013 season that I think is the reason it really stays high.
Yeah, I'm so with you. I would very much welcome this one back. No offense to Puma, copy Nike here. You can do some throwbacks. Now, this is where we maybe move to a bit more of a controversial section of this. A different kind of category.
Try not to get yourself cancelled in what we're talking about from here onwards, Lockie. It is the 2014 and the first ever Indigenous jumper for the Carlton Football Club. And because we're ranking the jumpers, I do want to almost pre-emphasize this with, as far as the Indigenous ones go, love it, obviously. Now, there's so many stories to it. There's so many stories to it that I think make the jumpers even better. But we've got to be very subjective here. And we've got to really look at the design and almost rank what designs out of the Indigenous that we think are better. So please, no one cancel this if I say I didn't like one of the Indigenous jumpers. It's more based on design than anything else. Please, I swear to God. But where does this first one sit with you? We've got Chris Yarran in there. It's got the little boomerang underneath. There's quite a bit to it. They've kept it quite simple for the first year.
They did. I can understand why they were doing that.
Mm.
Easing our way in, and it definitely has changed a lot over time. I mean, if we think about all the Indigenous jerseys here, do you have this more on the higher end or the lower end?
It's probably somewhere in the middle to very much fence sit.
That's fair.
And they haven't done it a lot, which I maybe it's a club directive that you're not allowed to, but I'd like us to do more in the actual monogram itself, put some more pattern in that. And this is kind of the first time they ever did that. It feels like the boomerang feels a little out of place.
That's my thinking.
Because it's just like it feels a little bit like a white person has attempted to design one where they're like, what's something Indigenous? We'll just whack a boomerang on, and I'm getting that vibe to it. But I do like that they have tried to keep it simple. So I don't know. I feel like it's maybe between okay and good. I don't know where you kind of have it.
I agree. I think, and this is where I'm going to be hypocritical with a lot of these because I kind of wish it wasn't so similar, like you said, where it's like, let's just chuck a boomerang at the bottom. Like it's like, but then there's going to be some that are so completely different to our normal jersey, which I'm also going to hate on. So I'm with you. I think that kind of range is okay.
Is this sit ahead of the baby blue or just below it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Let's have it here for now. Let's have it here for now. Now we go to one that, in the preamble of me running you through these jumpers, you do not remember this at all. It is the 2014 Members Appreciation jumper, which we don't seem to get too many of those. Maybe that's a bit telling, but it's this wacky, again, going back to that 1910 logo that is on the Heritage jumper. And then it's got basically all the names of all the members on it, like a lot of clubs do, which I think if you take that away, it'd look even better. Like I like the throwback version of it. What do you kind of make of that old style CFC on Big Meat there? And where does this rank for it?
On Big Meat. I'm definitely not a hater of the old monogram. I don't like this as much as Big Brett Johnson, though.
Wow.
Is that fair to say? You like this more than Brett Johnson? You are such a lover of the Brett Johnson.
I'd have this here. I'd almost say, and I said this back in the day. I don't know if you remember this conversation. You probably don't, because
in 2015?
I said when this jumper was there, I said, get rid of this one that Carazzo's wearing. I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see this cool one. I liked it. I thought it was one of the best emblems we ever had, and I would love to see that for a season.
You were a hot take artist back in year 12, weren't you?
Big fan. I was on the socials. There's proof of me somewhere commenting saying, make this the official jumper. Probably in the comments. But all right, you've got it
interesting.
Here, or
were you on there?
Or do you not? On where?
On the jumper? You bloody member?
Probably. I've been a member for 23 years straight, so I'll be on there somewhere. You can probably pinpoint me right at the top, number one. No. I wish I had that jumper, I'd almost buy it for that.
I'm definitely in this being like, I do like this. This, but I'm a big fan of the champagne. So
we'll sit it behind Champers. We'll sit it behind champagne. Now, going towards another one here, it was the 2015 to 2019. It is the return to the old CFC, more like the good old era of the Carlton Football Club, like we weren't playing like the Blue School. With the Nike, we almost tried to, when we were doing this whole rebuild, go, what do we got to do to win? We've got to bring back the jumper that we won in. And everyone thought, holy shit, we're going to win the flag the next year because we changed the jumper back. And the big difference between this one and the current jumper is, of course, that big raised monogram that is born a bit of controversy as of late. So where does this Nike modern day throwback sit for you?
So, like I mentioned earlier, I don't like this monogram as much.
Ooh, controversial.
You like it more?
I do like it more. Yeah.
Wow. And there is no reason for me to even argue this, because it's nothing more than just my eyes saying this is better. I would welcome I would welcome the monogram that we've been discussing for the last 10 minutes to come back now.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
this is big. So where is this one in the ranking systems for you? Does it get into masterpiece or is it great?
Yeah, I would say for me this is great.
Ooh, above Murph or below Murph?
For me, I'd say below Murph.
Oh, that is very controversial.
Because I'm a yeah, and you can see how I'm thinking about these things. Like that, yeah. This is not my favorite monogram, but it is yours.
Yeah, wow. I mean, if I'm ranking it up here, I've probably got it here. That's where I'd almost have it. Oh, yeah, let's go just a bit. I want to I still love this thing with a little bit of blue. I don't know, something about that era, but I don't know. Maybe have it above that. I don't know, but so
sure.
Maybe we'll meet in the middle for now, and I'll slip it above Murph to change things and have them a little bit my way. But I feel like that's me in the middle.
Very similar.
Okay, well, that is very controversial from Lockie. He's just,
I know,
he's an absolute fake fan. Now we move to our next Indigenous jumper. Hard to find photos of a lot of players in these, I'll be honest. That's why I've changed the template format randomly in this one. It is our 2015 Indigenous jumper. We've tried to go a little bit different in this, which I do like. We've got a bit of a snake outlining it. I think that might be a little turtle underneath. So a bit more added to it. Very subtle in the design. Is this better than the boomerang?
Is it better than the boomerang? What do you think?
I don't want to be rude. I just feel like it's a bit dull. I'd have it below the boomerang. I'd almost have it below the main. I don't
think that's rude to say. I think that is fair enough to say.
A little, if that was a different color, like we've got some of the ones coming up that I'm very excited to talk about, but it almost sometimes you look and you think, is there actually anything on that? And maybe that's just the fact that I can't see, but I don't know. I like that they tried to do a bit more with it, but I want a bit more vibrancy with my Indigenous jumpers. So I think
I am with you on that.
There. Yes. It's not horrific because you almost can't see it. So I don't think it jumps down too low. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm going to sit it there for now.
Yeah. I feel similarly about this next one.
Now, this one is the 2016. Is this the 2016? What am I looking for? Yes, 2016. So I've tried something a little bit different with this. It's a little bit more wavy, a little bit more color.
A little bit.
Only just. So is that sitting there for you now?
Yeah, I like it better.
See, I reckon I'd have this above the boomerang.
Yeah, okay. I agree.
I just think there's a little bit more. Again, if it was a bit more vibrant, it jumps up higher. But I just feel like they've started to. This is almost the start of what you've kind of seen today in the Indigenous jumpers. So I've got it there.
Chris also very much doesn't look like he wants to be having his photo taken. And I keep looking at that one and thinking he's like, no.
He's not happy. Not a happy man. Probably not too happy at the moment either. Maybe should have enjoyed taking that photo. But
I thought you weren't going to get cancelled.
Hey, I haven't said anything bad. I haven't said anything bad there. No. What could have been, though, Chris Yaron? Potentially one of my favourite players to watch.
Loved him.
One of the all-time greats. We moved to 2017. Not a great year for the Carlton Football Club, but a great year for jumpers because Carlton revolutionised footy jumpers as we know it. Because this has become all the rage. Everyone froths over this GWS jumper, saying it's the greatest thing that ever existed. Well, guess who did it first? It is Carlton with the blue out jumper. Jack Silvani modelling it with the lovely just outline on there. Where is this for you?
I like to think that we have similar taste in fashion.
Oh God!
Do you like this?
I'll tell you. Controversial opinion, Lockie. Controversial opinion.
Don't do it, Ian.
I'd have it there. I think it's the best thing we've ever worn.
That is objectively
hottest take.
Wrong.
Hottest take. Hottest take is this is the greatest jumper of all time, and nothing beats that any football club.
You keep talking while I look at this closely.
So why I love it is, again, first time we saw, again, I love something different. I love something different. And this We didn't go with an old school CFC. We didn't try something wacky by putting a bloody white stripe on it. We didn't change the colors. We went, what if we just do a stealth design? We just outline it. And we won the game of footy. I think we beat Essendon in that one, potentially. And there's something about it that is just so sexy. And I can't believe we stopped doing it. Like, we should at least wear this a few times a year. It's marvelous. And then they had the numbers on the back with just the outline of the number. Oh, it's so clean, Lockie. This has to be at least in masterpiece.
Unbelievable. I'm very happy to let you have that. But
where would you like it? I need the debate. I need the debate from you. If I wasn't here, you're doing this by yourself.
Maybe it's just because I'm just so jaded of these years. And I know you're saying we've won when it was first introduced or whatever it was, but I don't know. Maybe that's my issue. I'm not able to separate this from this being like the darkest time in my Carlton fandom.
Well, can I ask you
but
this question?
I understand your passion. Yes, ask me anything, please.
If this was the more rounded CFC in an outline, would you be loving it? Would you be loving this?
No.
I think it'd almost be too clunky in the other one. There's too much going on. But if you just give me honest answer, what category would this be in if I hadn't spoken?
If I'm looking at everything we've got here, I would say that this is captain of the OKs. I prefer Brett Johnson. I prefer meat. And then I'd have it there. And I know that this is spelling the end for this podcast because we've never disagreed so much on potentially anything.
I don't know what to do. What do we do?
Put him in masterpiece.
We need some mediation. No, because you've said you want it so low. I'm happy to take it out of masterpiece.
You're so passionate. We need at least we each need a couple of passion votes where it's like I got that passion vote with Brett Ratton. I think you need to get this with Sauce.
Because I'm happy to chuck it as captain of great if we're desperate. If you dislike it so much, to meet in the middle. We can negotiate. I guess. On that. You happy to make it captain of the great?
Yeah.
So
what if we fucking make the grand final next year?
Yeah.
What do you want us wearing? Ian picks. It's a competition. We're going to pick a member. They pick what we wear in the grand final. Ian, you pick.
Oh, that's tough.
Are you saying that you would pick this?
I'd be close to it. I'd be close to it. It wouldn't be the current one.
No, I agree.
It'd either be similar to this because it's just that like the Cade Simpson one you've got there in great because it's like the good CFC. It's the most modern version you can get of it, or it's probably Brett Ratton.
That would be my
choice. There's something about that. So yeah, okay. We'll sit it here.
Spicy.
It's getting spicy in here. Let's see where we go. One of these jumpers coming up. I'm very excited to debate. We're sticking in 2017.
I know.
They've listened to
Lockie. Such a hypocrite soon. But yeah.
They want you some color, and they've gone in this Indigenous jumper. They've gone, let's throw some blue in there. There's a bit of a sun in there. You got some yellow and orange. What do you think of this design? With an I-30 logo, which I don't think I've ever seen on a Carlton jumper. And it is taking up a lot of real estate on this jumper. I can't believe they've allowed it to be so large on this thing.
I'm glad you said it was I-30 because I could hardly see what the sponsor was on this one. Fuck me. It's almost bigger than the monogram, isn't it?
I reckon next year, get rid of the CFC. Just put a big I-30 on the front. I reckon we're good to go.
Oh,
that's what I want to see in a grand final. Where's this one?
To be a fly on the wall in some of these design meetings. Yeah. I mean, this is the I-30 to me is an eyesore on this, and it ruins whatever else could possibly be going on.
And it's like the main jumper. I think if this was Hyundai, it would probably sit like here or here.
Sure.
But the I-30 is so big.
Okay. I'm glad we finally agree.
I just can't see anything else on this. And I just feel like the colors on it are a bit, how you going? Like they're just sort of, here's some color for the sake of it. Does it go here?
I don't want to
Or
see
is
that
it?
jumper again.
It's okay. It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom, unfortunately.
It probably is. Like
Um,
I can't really say a redeeming quality personally, except that
yeah.
it's got the Nike,
Oh,
and I'm a
yeah.
Nike man.
And this is where I probably will accidentally cancel myself, but there must be a good meaning for the lines on the far right, but it just looks like
Okay.
this weird ladder squiggly. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't. Maybe I need to read the story on it because I'm sure it means something amazing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It just doesn't have it for me. Another controversial one. 2018, we decided to change things up incredibly with our way jumpers. Gone are the white. Gone is any color. We've gone the grey wolf. Where is the grey wolf for you?
You're not gonna like what I'm saying, Ian. I like this one. I don't know why, but it's something about the grey with the navy here is just really clean to me. I know.
Oh, I hate this. Oh, let's
I'm
cancel
canceling
this
myself as
episode.
someone that knows anything about what clothes should look like.
Look,
I don't know. Maybe someone will agree with me in the comments, but there's just something. Look at Paddy looks so
where do you
proud
want
to
it?
be in his grey.
Where do you want this? You can put it wherever, and then I'll jump in. Where would you
I would
have
put this. I would put this in between Eddie and Jono.
Oh wow, that is way too high.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
it.
hate.
But didn't
I
you?
don't hate.
I'm
Yep.
trying to take me back to your comment before. So you like the Mark Murphy, baby blue with the
Love it,
navy?
yeah.
Didn't you say the navy monogram kind of popped on that?
It did.
You don't see that pop with Rick?
Not as much as a white one would. Okay, I'll say this. Everyone hated this grey when it came out. I didn't hate it. I didn't think, like, if I was to rank this, I'd probably have it below Murph. I'd probably sit it more here. Just because
that's pretty close.
it's because of the grey shorts ruined it again. Carlton stopped making it the same color. White shorts would have made the grey pop and look a lot nicer. And I think maybe this is similar to your hatred of the blue out jersey, where just not a good year. 2018, grey jumper,
I
2
agree
wins.
with that.
Not even sure we won in this jumper. Not sure it was one of the two that we were able to get a win in. So the Virgin logo, you can't see it because it's white, and there's just not a lot of redeemable qualities for me.
Interesting.
If anything, I'm happy to have it in good, but I'd have to have it at the end of good.
You say it hasn't got many redeeming qualities, but it's not horrific.
I don't look at it and want to throw up. I know a lot of fans do, but I don't. Like, if we brought back a grey jumper next year but with white shorts, I'd be like, yeah, sick. So I have it very mid. So I'm happy to have it in good. Happy to have it in good, but champagne has to be higher.
Yeah, now that I look at that, I agree that the retro monograms are better. Yeah. But I would definitely have this above Baby Blue Murph.
We won in the Baby Blue Murph.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I'm a hypocrite in this regard. And we'll get to the Carlton Respects one soon. So,
yes. We'll see where that goes. Next one, I'm trying to see on my run sheet. I've got about anyone who was able to see in this room right now. I've got about 17 screens, 17 tabs open in front of me. So this is the 2018 Indigenous jumper, potentially the most we've ever changed a jumper. So we're talking about not enjoying some of the first ones because we felt it was a bit bland. They listened, and they have gone almost too far with this one. First time they've changed the CFC around it as well. The monogram's got an Indigenous vibe to it. A lot of vibrant blue colors on it. What do you think, Lockie?
I like the direction.
Yes.
And spoiler alert, my favorite Indigenous one is to come.
Yeah.
But it's not this one for me.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think I've been crying out for us to do something with the monogram in an Indigenous way. And they listened this year, but then they kind of grabbed the paintbrush and just sort of flicked it at the jumper. And there's quite a lot. There's almost too much going on where I feel like that could have been such a centerpiece to it. Again, I think it's like 90% there, and they just went a bit far. I think it's better than the turtle.
Yep.
I think it is it better than Maine? Is it better than the Boomer?
It's so
Oh,
funny to have Maine in the middle of all these Indigenous dresses. It's so different.
I think it sits there.
Yeah, that feels good to me.
Oh, I mean, I just this jumper, the main jumper, just brings back horrific memories. Like so you'd think the 2018 one would, but that just ruined my childhood. Whatever
I
this
know.
is, like I
Seriously,
didn't even put up the Toshiba one because that would have gone straight in the bin.
I'm actually
Like
feeling
most
really good
Toshiba
about this whole
products.
list right now. Can I just say?
Yeah,
Just a little pulse check. This is feeling good. So
it's
let's
good. And
carry
again,
on.
if you
I'm
disagree with
liking
any
it.
of these, let us know in the comments and get on to the link of this in the description there and have a go and let us know what is different because I feel like we're going to be a bit controversial in some of the ones we like and don't like.
If anyone agrees with this entire tier list, they are a liar. There is just no way. There's just no way that you could be aligned on all of this.
So, Lockie, look, you liked the grey top, and Carlton didn't listen to because they went straight back to the
Yeah,
white. It's almost blinding in this photo, and the reason I have
it
this
is.
in, it's very similar to obviously your Eddie Betts one, but with the different monogram. So maybe Lockie does not like this, but where is this one rating for you?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I definitely have Eddie's one higher. I would have it probably where you're literally hovering, which is it's really similar to the grey. I personally prefer the grey. Do you prefer this one to Eddie's? I'm going to predict that you have this in between Murph and Eddie.
I have this here, I reckon.
Interesting.
I think the white's dull. And it almost doesn't make sense. And again, I think some of this goes down to the success wearing this jumper because this jumper, it's almost like the staple one we have now, but it's almost too white. I just see so much white. Whereas I don't know, there was something about the Eddie Betts one that had the little blue coming down, had some blue side panels.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a bit more my
agree.
childhood where I still looked at these guys a bit more like superheroes. So I don't know. I definitely just don't. I feel like we tried it once, and so it was fine. And then we brought it back again, and it's kind of like it was fine when you had it last time. Do something different. It reeks of lack of creativity, which is why I have it lower. But I'm happy to bump it up into.
Oh no! I'm yeah. It's very similar. Yeah. Yep. We can review it.
Yeah, we'll keep it there. Now, this will be a fun one to talk about. It is the 2019 Indigenous jumper. First time they experimented with some colors. First time they really went into it. My man SPS, who I speak very fondly of on the podcast,
you love SPS,
is wearing this one. Where does this sit for you in Indigenous jumpers and on this tier list?
Personally, because that's what this is. We're talking about personal feelings here. This is my favorite one that we've seen so far in the list. You agree?
Yes.
Are we together?
This is by far my favorite Indigenous jumper we've ever had. I would have this. Okay. This is my controversial opinion. I'd have this sitting here. I think it's so good.
I don't hate that.
The monogram pops and it's raised and like all the colors, there's so much going on, but yet it doesn't make my eyes, I'm not distracted. I can focus in on things. I like this little bird we've got up the top there, just peeking over the AFL logo. There's a lot of color, but it's also dull. I feel like they've got a nice sort of the navy seeping through. I did actually buy this one. I think it's the only Indigenous jumper I have purchased. And Carlton, by the way, accidentally sent me two. So sucked in. Only paid for it once. Good luck getting that money back. You're never doing it.
They're listening right now.
Allegedly. Who knows? You can't prove it. But yeah, so I rate that one very, very highly for me.
Yep.
Where do you like
it?
I
feel good about that. This is my second favorite, I will say. So I'm content. Is it better than Murph in 2013? I'm happy. I'm happy to live with that.
You can always jump down if you want.
No.
Okay.
Look,
I'll stay there for now.
You know me.
Then in 2020, an interesting year for AFL football. We've gone the away top because we had to wear the Clash, and it is an Indigenous version of the Clash jumper. What do you think of this design?
It's not for me.
I think I have it here.
I think that's fair. I think it's worse than Big I 30.
It again, and I hate to say it because there's obviously some great ideas around it, but like you've seen with what we've just gone from, we went from one of the best ones I've ever seen, so much vibrant color, and I get maybe they weren't allowed to do a lot with it because of the away jumper, but I look at so many other teams and they just seem to have so much more imagery going on, whereas this one's just I think it's like the dots to, I believe it was all the families or something, or the Indigenous players that have played for us or are currently in the team were represented by that. And again, the story's really good, but it's too simple. I like my Indigenous jumpers to be wacky and out there and have so much going on. It's not funny. Whereas this one, it just lacked a little bit of that. And so unfortunately it's just, maybe it's harsh because actually this is genuinely the worst thing I've ever seen the more I look at it. And I don't want to look at that. And at least it's closer to this Charlie jumper than it is Brett Thornton with his weird smirk looking at me. So maybe it kind of makes me want to bump these up a little bit more, but it's just lacking any substance I'm seeing on it.
I thought the same about that smirk. Yeah, I with you. The more I look at Sauce, Steven Sauce, that is, the more I want to add a 6th tier.
Because, and I know we're going for a while now, but like the reason, like I feel like the Brett Thornton one and this Eminem one is up higher in the horrific is I remember it. I just don't really remember those two jumpers. When going through some of the designs, I just went, I don't even remember seeing that. But yeah, that's where it sits currently. Then we go to, and I actually quite like this one. It's the 2021 Indigenous jumper with Liam Jones on it. Bit more of a subtle design on the sides now. So where are you thinking and where are you rating this one?
It is clean. Do we go as far as to say that it's good?
I think so.
I think it's good.
I'd have it above that one, at least.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Because it's simple like some of the others, but you can notice the design more. And that's, as I've said, I love seeing the design. And it doesn't take away from anything. Your eyes aren't drawn to everything on it. But you just look at it and you go, clean. I like it.
It's quite slimming, I think, with that design.
It
brings the waist in. Yeah.
Maybe there's something in this. Maybe we need to start. Well, definitely I need to start wearing this jumper.
Yeah, speak for yourself, mate.
And now we're getting closer and closer to the future. It is the 2022 Indigenous jumper. Jesse Motlop's in it. There's a lot going on in it. I feel like this is your favorite. Is that correct in saying?
You know me so well.
There's definitely
similarities.
Yeah,
definitely. I think everything you kind of described about the Samo one, I would say about this. I just think maybe the bit of a, would you call it a bit of a paler blue? There's just something about this one. I think this is a great jersey.
I think
I'm happy to put it below Samo, but
yeah, I think what draws me to the Samo one is there's a bit more darkness around the monogram, and I feel like the monogram pops a bit more than on this one. But they're both so similar. For some reason, having a bird on the jumper has made me love that Samo one a bit more.
That. Yeah. I can definitely live with that. They're my 1 and 2.
I think they're unbelievable. More of that, please. More of that bright design. And then we have, of course, 2022, 2023 Carlton Respects. Absolute great cause with the orange. Very vibrant in the contrast of this. Got it on the collar, got it on the cuffs. What do you make of it?
This is probably the one that I'm going to fence it the most with. So much so that I don't even want to give a thought, because in the theory of us trying something different and doing something different for a good cause, I love
it.
I just can't get past the fact that we cannot win a goddamn game in this jumper. And now each year that it comes around, we're like, we can't win in this jumper. And then the game comes and we don't win. And it haunts me with this. I want to love it.
In fairness, we've only played, I think, 2 games in the jumper. We've had the socks going for about 8 years. The jumper's only come into it late.
Thank you for the correction there.
I'm going to park it here so my finger isn't on my laptop for the whole time, having to hold it down. It's getting a bit
Sorry,
sore,
Ian.
but
It's been a long episode.
I'll let go. So I got two hands here.
What do you think?
I like the idea of incorporating a little bit of orange. Bit funny as well around the era we introduced it, because it was like when we just got an influx of GWS players. So there was almost this, oh my God, they're the Carlton Giants, which I kind of liked almost playing into, even though I know they're not together.
You want Christian Jacks to feel at home. That's fair.
Exactly. Now, my controversy in this opinion that I think a lot of people may completely disagree with me here is, and it feels like maybe we're not allowed to. Someone at this club is holding us from doing it. I hate the fact that it's like we're just doing the collar and the cuff orange. If you're going to go
monogram orange.
Monogram orange. What are we doing with just the cuffs? It looks so weird, just that, and then everything else is regular. Just go the full ball. Go for it. Make the monogram orange. If it's all you had to do. You didn't have to do the cuffs. Just do the CFC.
I think that might be horrific.
They make their logo that for the thing. They've made T-shirts with that. I feel like that would have made more sense than like, oh, let's just put it on the little bit of the jumper you don't see. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to get into Carlton respects, let's get into it. You're only wearing it once.
I get what you're saying.
I don't know. So for me, it's probably going to sit... I don't know.
I personally like it more than any of those in OK.
You'll have it here?
Yeah.
I can't have it over baby blue. I'm vetoing above baby blue.
Were you wanting baby blue to be good? Or were you?
Yeah, I probably good. It probably would have sat.
Would say, yeah.
It would have sat above maybe Cripper, but I know we very much disagree.
Mm-hmm. I would be happy to bump Murph up if that feels right, because I can't, as I look at all those ones in OK, baby blue Murph does feel better than all of those.
Is it above Charlie or is it here?
Let's go there for now.
Let's go there for now. And where's Adam Sard going in his lovely orange cuffs?
Yeah. God, I just love Adam Sard so much.
It does make you want to bump it high, just for the fact that Adam Sard's full sprint. I'm surprised it's not a photo of him bouncing the ball, to be honest. They've caught him at the wrong time somehow. It's a rare photo.
I feel like I'm steamrolling here, but I feel like this is the best of the OKs, personally.
Yeah. I'm happy to have it there.
There's no way that it's not as good as Maney.
Oh, it's better than Maine. Everything's better than Maine. I almost want to just throw that with the weird Steven Silvani jumper we've got there. But moving on, we now have, and there's 3 to go, the 2022 to 2023 away. We've gone, hey, Ian loves his outline.
I was just going to say that.
Right?
You love a thick outline.
They've gone, what we should do for the away one, we'll bring it back in that sense with this massive white piece. What do you think, Lockie?
I hate seeing this one. I hate when I get to a game and I see this one personally. I don't think it pops. And I think they were trying to make it pop. And it pops in theory, but not in practice.
Where's it sit? Make the decision.
I feel bad. I feel bad because this is our current kit, but I actually think this is horrific. I feel blinded when I get to the game and we're rocking this.
Where would you sit it in the horrific?
Oh, it's just look at this bunch of jerseys. It's horrific. I guess so. I don't know. What do you feel? Do you feel more positive about this one than I do?
Lockie?
Of course you do, because we don't agree on anything.
I hate this jumper so much. I would rather. And I know some people would rather just not wear it and just wear nothing underneath, to be honest. Because
we just go topless away.
It's insane to me. Literally. Because as much as I love that other one, and I said it was a masterpiece, I don't know why, but on white, it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I don't know what they've done with the outline, but somehow the monogram looks like it's a cartoon. Like it just,
yes, it's cartoony.
It makes it look shit. Whereas the other one, it stood out and it just looked like the monogram. It looks shit. There's too much white. It looks like you didn't finish the jumper. I can't believe it got a reprise for a second season. If this is our one next year,
I don't think it will be.
I don't know what will happen. The member survey will get even more heated next year. I tell you what, it's sitting in horrific, and just because I'm being a dick, it's going to stay where it is. Brett Thornton jumps it. I'd rather the yellow.
We should have done an episode of filling out the member survey, by the way. That would have been good content. We'll
can I do another one? I'll sign up again, and then I'll
that would
do another one. Now
cool.
We'll go to the current crop. This is the 2023 jersey. It's been around for a couple of years. I think it started in 2020 with Puma. Got the Hyundai. Got the monogram. Very similar to a lot on the board. Where is it? In what ranking do you have our current jumper?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's hard to hate on this one, I think. It's definitely up there. It's better than all the goods for me. I personally, I don't want to say this is a masterpiece.
I almost have this in good, Lockie.
Really?
Yeah.
You would have Eddie Betts white over this current iteration?
It goes back to a very controversial debate going on in the Carlton land that some are heated, some are very passionate about. Others could not care less, and it's the raised monogram argument, Lockie. And I knew you knew I was going to go there.
Yeah, and you know that I don't care, but carry on.
It just looks so boring when it's so flat. I don't know what it is. Like when I look at the beautiful one on Brett Ratton, you can see it, the puffiness there on Carazzo. You can even see it on Cade Simpson. It stands out. And then you just see this and it's kind of like, boring.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And so I think that's why I'm just so against the bland feeling of it, that it's still obviously a beautiful jumper. It's got the CFC, so I think it can sit in great for that sense. And I mean, I haven't done myself any good service by putting one of the most beautiful men looking stunning in Charlie Curnow. He fills it out incredibly. So I think it has to sit in great, but just the fact that it's a flat, boring monogram means that it sits at the back.
I get that. I'm happy with that. I'm also happy to concede that being the captain of the goods, because there isn't anything spectacular going on there except for Charlie's pipes.
Which I think makes it.
It's in that area for me, for sure.
Yeah. Easy. Now we got the last one, which will wrap this up, and we'll go through all of them, go through the rankings. If you have, I'm going to say this, we can maybe, if we feel that passionate about anything, you both have one that you can change.
That's danger. I like that.
You feel passionate about it. We will be with our 2023 Indigenous jumper. Again, Jesse Motlop, looking schmick. I love that little smiley face he's got there. A lot going on in this one. Very similar in essence with these. But where do you rank this, Lockie?
It is similar in essence, but it is not as good.
It is not as good.
It gives me a bit of like the top of it. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I'm glad. I think we're aligned to almost finish this episode, which is good.
Thank God.
If it didn't have, and see, this is where you get yourself cancelled. If it did, because I like that they've gone for the yoke type thing of the tradition of Carlton. I don't know if that was any idea of it, we used to have this white thing on top, so maybe I'll do that. But it just looks a little like a doily or like something, like one of those little things, little frilly things. And
I was going to say a Christmas sweater.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that. So that's what it tells me. I feel like just the white bit at the top takes away from what could have been an amazing one. Yeah. So I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think it's better than any of those other okay.
It can be the captain of the OKs. I'm happy for that. I like the circle.
That smile is hard.
I like everything except that little bit of white at the top. Yeah. Doesn't help when you don't win in it either. I think that doesn't help. But yes, that is the list at the moment. We've got some in Masterpiece there. All good, home jumpers you'll see. There's all the ones in great, in good, okay. And there's our horrific. I'll open it up to you, Lockie. Is there one that you feel that passionate about that you want to move and I guess I cannot change it. And you can move it up, you can move it down.
I'm actually feeling so good about this list right now. I think I'm going to put it out there. I think a lot of people are going to agree with us about the masterpiece tier. That those are the 4. I actually feel really good about that. What stands out to you? I would not do it to you with JSOS. I'm happy for him to be there. What? Give me your. Maybe it is going to be putting something to masterpiece and ruining what I just said. But give me your maneuver.
I think if I was doing this by myself, there's probably 2 I would have had in masterpiece, which would have obviously been my Blue Out, and I would have had my Indigenous one up there for the sake of, I think a lot of our Indigenous designs have been a bit bland compared to other teams, where I'd say every single year I'm like, I love all of these, and then I see ours and I'm like, no, I don't love it as much as some of the other teams. But I kind of agree with you. I'm looking at what we have, and I really like it. I think the only one you want to put Cripper down, feel, I'd say the only thing I feel really more passionate about is like Murph up in the baby blue, Cripper down. But you also feel so strongly the other way that I just couldn't do it, because I think what we've done well today is actually combine and almost try to meet in the middle in a fair few of them. So it's really
nice, isn't it?
I think we've nailed it. If anything, we create another level and get rid of the sauce one. We almost make 3 more levels.
That's true.
And then it's the bottom of that one.
I actually feel so good about this. I think we've showed great teamwork here. We didn't bicker too much. The friendship stands. And now I'm keen to see what everyone else thinks.
Oh, very excited. Very excited. But yes, that's our tier list. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. We've got our mid-season review episode coming up that we'll be recording over the weekend or Monday night. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. If you don't want to miss it, subscribe to YouTube. It'll be on here. It'll be on all your podcasting services as well. So wherever you're listening, jump on it. Go over to our socials at Navy Blue Corner. Make this tier list that is in the description below. Let us know in the comments what you agree with, what you don't, and then show us your list, because the fun of this is getting to actually debate it and go through it yourself, because I've had so much fun going through this. It's something that jerseys have been a massive passion of mine always, so it's always fun to go through it. And if we've missed any that you will feel passionately about, if you love the Toshiba that we don't have in there, if there's another one from the 1930s that you're like, no, boys, this is the one, drop it in the comments, let us know. But that's pretty much going to wrap this one up. We've got so much content to get through for the rest of this season. Very excited. But that's our tier list. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. See you guys next time.